Alright guys, with the playoffs almost here, things are definitely going to be heating up on the puck line. And I think most of us can agree on one thing. Money is amazing, am I right? With that being said, as I've mentioned, I've partnered up with Fanduel, which is the perfect way to test your luck and possibly make some bucks along the way. You can choose your favorite players for your own fantasy team, which, might I add, you can make at any time in the season. As they accumulate points, so will you. And, as I saved the best part for last, through Fanduel, you'll automatically receive 20% match of a deposit up to $500. Really, it's free money in a sense. So, if you'd like to possibly make bank and support me, click on the link below to get started. And now, on to the feature presentation. Now back with part 5 of this intensely interesting series. It seems like every season there's always new rifts that present themselves between players and their coaches. In case this is your first time joining in on the dysfunction, we're going to take a look at a select few player-coach relationships that weren't, and in one case, aren't the greatest. And with that, here are 3 more NHL players that hated their coaches. When Jarmo Kekalainen decided to bring in a fellow fan in exchange for a disgruntled Pierre-Luc Dubois, the GM had hopes that Laine would be the answer that the Jackets needed to help with their scoring woes. But little did he know, he would be thrusting number 29 into the worst possible scenario imaginable, with a coach in John Tortorella that immediately made a spectacle of the sniper. From multiple benchings to trying to change him as a player, Torts has definitely made Laine's adjustment to CBJ rather challenging. I envision him as an unbelievably skilled power forward. I'd like to see him bring some power into his game, and that's skating with the puck and taking people on one-on-one, the head coach told the media. A vision that has weighed heavily on Laine, so much so that after he was forcibly taken out of play earlier in the season, the forward told reporters, "I thought I was playing great, but I guess not," he says. After feeling so much adversity throughout the season and knowing Laine's personality, it's a logical conclusion to assume that Tortorella isn't his favorite coach that he's had thus far. For most of you watching, you probably already know that this pair here is definitely deserving to be on this list, as Ralph Krueger, for unknown reasons, seemed to have a strange vendetta against the previous 40-goal scorer that was quite evident. As Skinner, who had a decently productive season during the 2018-19 campaign, suffered statistically as soon as Krueger was appointed as the new bench boss in Buffalo. The forward went from notching 63 points while playing alongside Jack Eichel on the first line in a full season's play to being penciled in on the bottom 6 on the regular and employed on the penalty kill, a role that obviously wasn't the right fit for number 53. And it showed. Whether it was an actual vendetta or just incompetency, Krueger decided to assign the $9 million man to the taxi squad earlier in the season, which had to be humiliating to Skinner, along with the fact that he was replaced by an AHL player in Tage Thompson. Even though the easygoing, happy-go-lucky forward never would come out and say anything on the spot about his coach, he did publicly admit that he didn't agree with being scratched by Krueger, who preached accountability on the matter. "I watched a lot of hockey games, obviously, played in a lot of hockey games," he says. "I don't think you learn anything extra by not being out there," Skinner told the media. During his brief time as a Detroit Red Wing, Mike Modano would go down as one of the best to ever play as an American, but unfortunately fell victim to Babcock's mind games during the latter part of his career. Due to injuries shortening his final NHL season, Modano was set to play his 1500th regular season game at 40 years of age. But according to Modano, he has Babcock to thank for not reaching the significant milestone. "I enjoyed Mike at the beginning of the year, and then I got injured and kind of out of the system and fought my way back. It just happened to come down to one of those last couple games and I got healthy scratched. So I would have hit that 1500 right on the nose in our last game against Chicago, but I got healthy scratched a couple games before against Minnesota at home in Detroit. So I ended up with 1499. Yeah. It was a bitter pill, still to this point. It would have been nice to finish at some type of high note after that season I went through in Detroit. So yeah, it's a tough one. I'm kind of torn on that one. Some way, that was his decision, and you've got to live with it for the rest of your life. I'm not confrontational, so I really didn't say anything at the moment. I think it kind of just reiterated to me that this is probably it. I'm too mentally worn down to do this anymore," he says. So, having a coach pull a Keenan-like tactic on you for no apparent reason that kept you from eclipsing a huge milestone, well, I feel like if you were a normal human being with feelings, this one would cause some resentment to fester. So, just like countless other former and current NHL players, Mike Babcock is most likely at the top of Modano's hate list as well.